Thank you so much for returning to Sound Pollution again. This week I did go solo, but it is not because Uncle Brent didn't want to co-host. The timing just didn't work out for this specific interview. He will be back on the next episode and will continue to do so until he leaves us for paternity leave. This week, I have the joy of interviewing some members of the band Kissing Aphrodite, Michael and Jamie. I've been patiently waiting to get them in front of the microphone, and we had a blast. We will be discussing how the band came to be, their writing process, owning who you are as a musician, upcoming releases, and 3 of their awesome tracks. Side note, please keep listening after the outro of this episode for a bonus track that is going to be discussed during the show. Don't forget to click on those links. Everybody, I am here with Kissing Aphrodite, a band that I've been trying to interview for quite a while. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves to my listeners?
I'm Jamie. I am the lead singer of Kissing Aphrodite.
Mike, the drummer.
And who is not with us, and what do they do?
Eric is our bass player, and then Christian is our guitar player.
Okay, and how did you all get together?
Well, that's definitely Mike's fault. Yep, 100%. You were already playing with our original bass player, who is Steven, and you guys brought Christian in. Is that correct? Yeah. And then they talked about wanting singers, and Mike said he knew someone, and basically had to pull me in kicking and screaming.
Which I don't get, because your voice is amazing.
Thank
you
you.
have so much power behind your voice, and you don't hear that enough. It's either a female singer is very quiet, this is a pet peeve of mine, they're very quiet, or they're just screaming. There doesn't seem to be a lot of women who can pull off the in-between in rock music.
Thanks. Yeah.
It's really impressive.
Thank you. What it was is I had some not so great experiences with other musicians, and I sort of just told myself, I'm not getting into anything unless I can really see it going somewhere long term. And Mike just kept messaging me and saying, I think you really like what we're doing, and you really should try it out.
We're 3 nice guys. You know?
Yeah, we're 3 nice guys. You never have to worry about drama. And I mean, we had 1 band practice, and within 30 minutes, we had our first song. So that felt really good.
So describe your sound.
Oh, man.
How would you describe it?
We get asked this all the time, and it's, to be honest, like what genre we are, I don't know. Some people say like Americana or indie and pop and like soft rock. I don't know.
I'd always go with indie pop.
Indie
Americana, not so much.
No.
I don't know who, somebody was high when they said that.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
Maybe it's because of the songwriting and the lyrics that make people, because
Mm-hmm.
it does have your songs tend to have a story.
Yeah.
They're not just this one person broke my heart and he can
Yeah.
fuck off and die.
Right.
There's an actual story there.
Yeah.
well, while I take that chance, or take this time, Jamie has written every one of the songs. Every lyric, it's all been her. She's as good a songwriter as she is a singer. So
Thank you. Aw, thanks. I feel like I'm a better songwriter than I am a singer, but that's just how I feel about it.
So, how does the songwriting process work for you guys?
That depends a lot on how the song is created initially. Sometimes Christian will reach out to us and send us a really good recorded sample of his guitar work, and sometimes he even goes as far to put other instruments behind it. And so sometimes it's almost like writing to just a song that already has instrumentals, and other times I'll just be wherever I am. I'll write a song, I'll come to band practice, and I'm like, hey, so I've got this melody. But as far as actually coming up with the lyrics, they're usually inspired by real facts, real people, exes.
And when Christian does that, the whole band, virtual band, I do my best to do the opposite and aggravate him a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you do that just to piss him off?
Yes.
He's like, I'm going to
The answer to that is absolutely
He's
what
like, sometimes. She's like, yes.
Yeah.
Well, and he's also, when Christian sent it to us, he's using a drum machine. So there isn't that, it's
not authentic,
robotic.
yeah.
There's not that groove.
Well, he was in this band, and I'll have to get you some demos of what they were, because they changed their name like 20 times. I think it was like Blue Station, the last version of it, but it was a really, really and they were so good, and he had this, I look like I have to wear a helmet when I'm playing drums, and he had this guy who was a firefighter and just wore this big smile. He was like a freaking model, and he played this one
And you're like, I'm just sitting behind the drums.
He played this double hi-hat beat that was just like always smiling and just, I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
That's not how this is going down.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the first song. Let's talk about Hopeless, which is what it was called I feel like there's another word to that song all the time.
Hopeless Heartache. Yeah.
See, I really
That's
did
okay.
listen. I did
no,
listen
it's okay.
to
We yeah, we didn't know. But we have a couple songs that we changed the title to because when Mike would send over the files, it just looked weird because it would only let you have
Yeah, that's what I
so
saw.
much of it. Yeah.
That's all I saw.
Oh, there was a point that was really rated X. And it was just like, we cannot have it. And then I got to where I did that all the time.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
Now you're just fucking with
Oh,
them.
no, I swear to God.
No, yeah, it was because the song was called "Dripping in Gold," and so when he sent it over, it just said "dripping," and we're all like, "Hey, we're changing that song name right now."
I think you should have left it.
Yeah, it's
See,
it's
I
not
was
really a
believing
sexual
it.
song. That's what's ironic about it. It was
See, then it would throw people off. It'd be
yeah.
Well, and a little bit of history with that first one, Hopeless Heartache. The band I just referenced, Christian's band. Christian is a guy who is so productive, and he just constantly has new stuff. I mean, he's always got a new riff. He's always, and we get a little irritated, man, sometimes because hey, I don't want to do this song anymore. So we've chopped like 7 or 8 songs that we used to do just out, don't even practice them anymore, and they were good things that we loved. But he really had an attachment to this one because this was a former band's music almost. I say almost because, I said once again, I'm not doing what that guy was doing. And so, I changed it a little bit, and Eric's changed it. But the base of it was still an older song that he had done, and then Jamie put the new lyrics to it. And the format
And
changed
what
a
are
little
the
bit.
lyrics about?
Man, I wrote this song when I was like 18 or 19. And, when you get into an argument specifically with a guy, I know that might sound kind of sexist, but they just have a tendency to walk off.
Yeah, that
And that has,
It's
right.
so frustrating.
And I just want to like talk about it. I'm like obsessive about communication, but that was always hard for me. And I dated this one guy at the time, and he would just leave. And he would just go get his space, and the whole time I'm like having this mental breakdown. So one day I just, wrote the song "Please Come Home," and it was sort of just like, if you come home and we can talk about it, we'll get through this. So yeah, people love that song. I think that's the crowd favorite, honestly. Of all the mastered ones we showed people, that's everyone's
That's
favorite.
really good.
Well, they added the strings and all that too.
They
Yeah, I
did,
liked
yeah.
that.
It was,
The strings are a really good touch.
I
Yeah.
Hopeless heartache, never thought I could break. I tell myself
So what made you become a drummer?
I like to hit things.
That's actually so true, guys. No, I'm just kidding.
My mom was
I just wanna hit
my mom was actually a country singer, and she used to be in a country band, and I was just fascinated watching the drummer play. So eventually, I annoyed her enough where she got me a set, and here I am, 47 years old, still playing. So
His mom was
That's
a
it.
really
Yeah.
good country singer.
yeah, there was
Who's
actually
your mom?
she never made it.
That's
but-
okay to ship music out there?
Yeah, well,
Say her name.
It's Cindy Willard, but you can tell her the story of the other one. I'll have to let you hear this song way later, but
Oh, I'd like to hear it.
Forever ago, Mike approached me with, was it your mom's birthday? Was that what it was?
it was Christmas.
It was for Christmas, and he said, I really want to give my mom something amazing. And we weren't in a band yet together, but Mike said, I think you'd be the perfect one to sing it. And what it was her song from however long.
My stepfather had passed, and she had went to Nashville and recorded this thing, and it was in a garage or a shed, and when she got it out, it was ruined, and she was just like, it was my favorite song as a kid.
Oh, no.
So another buddy of mine named Kevin Cox, she gave me all of her, so I had her 12 string, I had all of her music, and I found the song, like all of her notes, the charts, the chords.
Everything.
And he put it together and played it exactly like how she did. So I put together a little mini band, and Jamie sang on it. And so, for Christmas, when I hit play on this, she had no idea what it was. Like, it was just like the first thing that she would have ever expected. And,
What'd she say? Did she cry?
Oh, yeah.
for days, weeks.
Yeah. It's still, I think, to this day, the most sentimental thing I've ever done.
It's so sweet.
It was a lot of pressure because I couldn't hear how she would have sang it. And I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah.
it's nothing like,
It was close. It was
really wasn't,
yeah, it
yeah.
really was close.
we had a lot of fun making that because Mike just picked everybody he thought would be the best at whatever instrument. So it wasn't like you're going into this like a band. You're just kind of all
Right.
friends, and we kind of all lightly knew each other. But it was a great experience. It was a lot of pressure, but it was a good experience.
That is the sweetest fucking
Yeah,
story
no
that's
pressure. It's
ever-
just the most meaningful gift I'm ever going to give my mom. And go.
I don't even know how to follow that. What question to fucking follow that up with? God.
Well, we don't have that song on here, but
Yeah, I didn't think we would
I
talk
want
about
to
it.
hear it.
Yeah.
It's called Gypsy. It's really
You'll have
good.
to,
Yeah, I've got it on my phone.
dude. I will add it to the very end of this episode, dude. I will.
Okay.
I swear to God.
That's fine.
And then you can tell her now you're on a podcast.
Right.
and-
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, like.
Yeah.
And what made you want to be a singer? Was there like a moment for you?
I just remember being a young kid, and I went to school with all these people that I thought were really good singers. And I've always been an artist, and I was really good at writing and, doing art, and all my art teachers would have me like help them and be their little assistant. And I just would always look at people who were so musically inclined, and I was like, I wish I could do that. And so I just started, and I didn't feel like I was very good for a long time. And the first time I ever went to a karaoke bar and sang, I got like booed off the stage, and it was like, I swear, yeah, all facts.
Oh,
But I was
the
trying.
worst.
Yeah, and you know what I was trying to do? I remember this so clearly because it was so traumatizing. But like, it was like it happened just a moment ago. Basically, I was trying to sing like something I wasn't, and I got up there and I tried to sing Joan Jett, and it just wasn't working. And
No.
the karaoke DJ just said, "Well, who do you listen to?" And I said, "Well, like Janis Joplin." And he goes, "Well, why don't you just try that?"
Right. Do
And I
something
was
you
just-
feel.
Right, and I was just like, oh, okay. And I just went up there and just sang, and I had all this rasp and everything, and it was like, next thing you know, boom, I was a singer.
You were like, okay, I'm not
Yeah.
getting booed off stage.
Well, and for the longest time, I was in really heavy bands because all I thought I could do was like raspy and screaming and stuff like
Right.
that. And then, I don't know, I just started practicing, and
It's so funny that you say Janis Joplin because that's one of the people I think of when I hear your voice.
oh, I'm so glad you said that because everybody says Stevie Nicks, and I'm like, I
No,
love
no,
Stevie
there's
Nicks,
some of that
but-
too, but you're a little. There's more edge.
Yeah.
She's a great vocalist, but you have more of an edge, and that is Janice had an edge,
Yes.
and that's the first thing I thought of.
Oh, that makes me so happy. Thank you.
I
Yeah,
love
she
singing
was like
Janis
my
Joplin.
biggest inspiration as far as wanting to be a singer. She's
there-
very misunderstood too,
She is.
which I like. They try to pin her in like a category, and she just kind of broke a lot of those molds.
Do you guys see yourselves being able to do anything else and feel the same way, or is this kind of it for you?
As far as like,
As far as, I mean, could you be anything other than a musician now? I mean, obviously we all have day jobs, and not everybody makes it big.
right.
But like, if you were just to stop doing music, like, could you ever even do that?
No, I think I'll always be creating and writing and singing, and I do actually own a tattoo shop. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, I do feel like I'm very blessed because I still get to be an artist. But I've always said, while the tattooing is a career, the music is more like therapy. It's sort of like eternal therapy. And I just don't feel right as a person not doing it, whether that's on a stage or at band practice in a garage, whether it's in a recording studio. For me, it's something that I do all day, every day. I'm always writing, I'm always singing, you know.
What about you?
You know, I'm lucky that I get to bounce back and forth. You know, I do a little
you
bit
are
of sound.
blessed.
I'm trying to play as much as I can. I know I've got some arthritis in my hands already, and I don't know. There's an end date that I won't be able to do what I do. You know, and on the flip side, that's also, you know, I get to do, you know, record the music and run live shows, and that, as long as I'm not deaf all the way, I can, you know, I'll be able to do those for a long time.
Going deaf is a big thing because we spend a lot of time next to fucking amplifiers.
Well, especially
Or with
when
headphones
he does.
on.
Yeah, I mean,
Especially drummers. Drummers
especially
and
drummers,
DJs.
but
Yeah.
he's always doing sound. He's always running sound and audio and everything. I mean, it's a lot easier for me to just sit down and write lyrics and sing to myself in the shower and whatnot. But what he does is a lot more maintenance and wear and tear on his body.
I wish somebody had told me when I was 19 years old and starting to spin records that you need to wear earplugs.
They told me, but I just didn't.
No
he
one
couldn't hear them over his drums.
Well, here's the
Nobody
thing.
told- I
Honestly,
was
though,
like-
I've had my
I
ears
was like-
checked, and I'm not too bad.
Because
so-
it's not just
good.
the headphones, it's also the speakers.
right.
And then there's the other speakers, and like there's a lot, and you need to protect.
Right.
And now I'm like, now I'm like, I don't think anything's loud enough. Like my phone's like, you cannot listen to this loud, and I'm like, it's not that loud. What are you talking about?
Luckily, the one good thing we have going for us is our rehearsal space, and that's where we did the virtual show at.
Oh, yes.
It's so big that
It is a great spot.
If you did that in a basement or somewhere that had 8-foot walls, when you leave and you're hearing that, you know, where it's been so loud it's blowing your ears. It doesn't really go that way out where we're at. So,
Right.
You know, that is a blessing on our end.
So tell me about. See, and now I'm worried that I'm only getting like the first word of these songs. Upper hand.
No, upper hand, yeah.
Okay, good. See,
Yeah,
like, I'm gonna be embarrassed again.
No, that's okay. Yeah, upper hand. I just love puns. I love things that are not like a slight against someone, but I like taking things that are negative and making them positive. Upper hand, it's kind of like when someone has the upper hand, but instead of that being a negative, it's like in a cute way, you know? It's like he's got the upper hand and she's into that. Like,
Yeah.
he has no idea the thoughts that she has about him or her or whatever, but they've got the upper hand, and it's a positive thing this time.
It's one this song too. She reminds me a lot of Dolly Parton.
I love Dolly Parton.
Yeah,
I'm
Dolly
not a
Parton
big-
was amazing.
Yeah, so I'm not a big country fan, but I love Dolly Parton. I love who she was as a person, who she still is, you know.
She's amazing.
Yep.
She's a very giving person.
Yeah, and she's very wise. I love what she, you know, I wear wigs all the time, and I just relate to her being so big and flamboyant, and I love that because I'm the opposite of that during the regular week. So.
So actually, let's touch base on that. How? No, and I don't, and
It's okay.
I wanted to talk about this because women in music are often only perceived as sexual beings,
Yeah.
as a toy, as a treasure, as something we want them in the front of the band because they're hot and this, that, and the other. And you kind of seem to have taken that and then be like, I am that, but fuck you.
Right.
And I love that.
Yeah.
How did you? Was that like a conscious decision you made to just be like, I'm going to do this for myself and it's not for you and you can all kind of suck a dick?
Right. That's definitely sums up a lot of my personality. Yes. I feel like I'm getting a tarot card reading here. No.
I can do that later.
Right. So no, actually the support of, well, me and Mike had been friends for a very long time. And one of the first things that he said after our first band practice was, you're very good looking, but that's not why we want you in the band. We want you here because we believe in you, and I don't care if you are in a t-shirt and a jeans. Whatever you want to do, just be yourself because we're here for your talent. And it has happened before where we'll go do like a radio interview and someone will be like inappropriate. And I mean, they get really offended. And I, being a bartender, a tattoo artist, whatever, to me, it's just like a big joke because I wouldn't take that seriously anyways. But it's the confidence.
Got 3 big brothers that are
Right.
What the fuck did you just say?
Right. And so,
Excuse
but that
me?
helps a lot for me to just be who I am. But I love to change my look. I love to play with my, just everything, whether it comes to clothes and I'm making costumes for the shows or changing my wigs.
I love
and
your
stuff.
clothes.
Thanks.
I do.
I make most of them, but yeah, I've always been sort of like really girly with a grunge side. And I didn't want to have to change who I was just because I was in front of the band.
And that's really nice of you guys to be like, we want you to know that you're here for your talent.
Well,
so what you do from there on out, we've got your back. Because women in music still receive an unfair amount of discrimination when it comes to our looks.
It's funny. There's been, I won't mention the names, but
Don't be slamming.
At least 3 people have said, I can't believe those guys make her go on stage looking like that.
And you're like, we
I was like,
do
dude,
nothing.
Right. We have no say so in that at all.
This
Like,
is
Yeah.
and it's probably like part of your creative process for performing.
Yeah, I definitely want to go up and sort of have an alter ego because then I can act crazy and silly and be ridiculous, and I don't feel like Jamie, who runs a tattoo shop, who's supposed to be more professional, is doing that. For me, there's a switch that happens when I go on stage, and it helps to kind of disassociate and just get into the person who wrote all these songs just isn't who I am sitting here. Those are like little snippets of my life.
Right.
But people relate to him, and I think that's kind of a beautiful therapeutic thing. With that said, I have always kind of wanted to find more of a look, and I feel like I'm still trying to find that as the front person. And I had the hardest time. Mike's like, I really need pictures of you. I want to put this on the drum
Did you
set.
hate that?
Yeah, well, I felt I didn't want it to come from a place of ego.
Right.
And, I think like most people, women probably especially, we have like self-conscious issues. And just my face being on a drum head was like, is this weird? Like, does this look vain? Because, Mike's like, no, please.
She was like, I want the rest of it. Like, we don't want to be on that. It's not, we're happy in the background, and I guess that was the, and when I said earlier, I didn't mean like, I guess because you are attractive and you're,
right.
I think some people think that that's the reason we're, and like, no.
I think we understood what you meant.
Okay, I just want to clarify that.
But you guys have her back, though.
Absolutely.
They do, and they've never, ever once said, hey, we're going to go do this, so, like, I think we should, like, make it sexy. No one's ever said that. In fact, most of the songs that do have that sexual twinge to them, I almost feel sort of, like, embarrassed bringing them. Not so much to Mike, because we've known each other for so long, but, like, with Christian or Eric, I'm close with those guys, but it feels like you're bringing them to, like, your brother, like, hey, let's sing about the super mysterious guy. It's like, what?
Like, hey, bro, let me tell you about my one-night stand.
Right.
And they're like, no.
Right. Yeah.
So let's talk about the latest that you're getting ready to drop. Let's talk about, are you calling it, see, every band is different. They're like, oh, it's just an EP. Or then somebody's like, it's an album. So tell me about what you've been working on.
By definition, I mean, I think it's EP is like anything under 5 songs, and then
An album
that's
is
albums.
I don't know.
supposed to
And
be
somebody
10,
else
but,
was
you
like,
know,
no,
it's-
one is only online and one is, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Tell me about the latest thing.
Right. I
Well,
would.
the recordings we've done.
The recordings you've
Yeah.
done that are coming out. Let's talk about
Right.
that.
Yeah. I guess we haven't really discussed whether it's an EP or an album. Can we call it a mini album? I don't know. Like
I like that.
a mini album. Yeah. It's. We were very, very, very blessed. A really good friend of mine has heard our music for a long time and came up and saw us at a gig, and he was just like, "You guys really have something.
Yes.
You guys have stage presence and all of that, but you really have a sound that not a lot of people are doing." And it sounds like something you've heard in the way that it's familiar, but it's unlike anything that's out. And he actually asked us what our genre was, and I had no idea what to tell him either. But yeah, he decided to sponsor us, and he really liked the studio La La Land. And so we started looking into it, and Anne was fantastic with us. So that was really an exciting thing to be a part of. So
And when is that fully released?
we actually just got it released today.
Today.
But-
That sucks because this won't be out for 2 weeks.
Right, no, that's okay. But actually, I think are going to do it in stages. We're going to release like a couple songs and then a couple
Okay.
songs. And then once all 7 of them are out, we'll be like, okay, here you can find it on this,
Okay.
this, and this.
And so, what is next for you guys after you finish releasing that? Are we getting back on the stage now that things are kind
Yeah.
of calming down?
We had some very close to us, just the band as a whole had some like health issues with other family members. And so we took a break, and which was actually really surprisingly well timed because we had done the recording.
Right.
We had to wait for it to get mastered. And all we've done now is just practice for the gig coming up in New Year's, which is at 21st in Germantown. And we have written a bunch of new songs. So now that we know how to kind of go in and record in a professional studio, we're like, okay, well, we're just going to start going in and recording like 2 or 3 songs at a time.
Right.
And
right,
keep
that's
putting out
smart.
new stuff, you know?
Yeah. Then let's talk about your last song, Mr. Mysterious. What is this story? Because
Oh,
those
yeah.
lyrics were great.
Thanks.
By the way.
That's-
yeah, no. I
yeah.
felt that one on a personal level.
Yeah,
So
that's
let's talk
the
about
song.
that.
Yeah, that's the song that actually got us into the studio. That's the song that my friend was like, okay, this is it. I love your sound, this and that. I had written a song called One Kiss, which is also on this album coming out. And that song then turned into, it's about the same person, basically. And one thing kind of led to another. It went from one kiss to now this guy, because it's just this one kiss will turn into being like this Mr. Mysterious. Although Mr. Mysterious has a lot of like just fun lyrics, that's probably the song that's based the least on an actual relationship or anything. It was just sort of based on a previous song, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. It's like you took the story and you moved forward with
Yeah,
it. Okay.
a little bit of it was real, but a lot of it was just like this fun fantasy, you know.
Mr. Mysterious, how can you deny me of this
Where can my listeners find you?
Facebook, YouTube,
Okay.
Kissing Aphrodite. Pretty soon we'll have iTunes and Spotify as well.
Oh yeah, you got to get on that Spotify.
We were just waiting for the professional recordings.
Somebody who owns a tattoo studio is still waiting on their art to be made for the band.
Oh my
Not
god.
only is she an artist, but three
Oh.
other
Yeah.
artists. They could all collaborate on some artwork.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you know.
The mini audience to our left is like,
Yeah. Yeah.
no pressure.
Yeah, no
Jamie.
pressure, yeah.
I can't draw
pressure.
a fucking stick man.
You know
but,
what it is? I
it's-
struggle so much with like I feel weird with it just being about me. If anybody came with any other design, I could have it done in like an hour. I don't.
You're the boss, man.
I know,
Delegate.
I know.
Delegate.
And it's difficult.
Speaking, what is the name of your tattoo shop?
It's called Treasure Ink Tattoo Studio.
And where's that at?
It's at 7th Street. It's I don't know why I'm laughing. Sorry. It's 2707 7th Street
In
Road
Louisville.
in Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay. And Michael should throw out his YouTube stuff.
It's almost dead. So.
No, it's not almost dead. You've been busy.
Yeah, I've been busy, but you know.
But it's been a minute. No, that was fun.
It
Seriously.
was. I will have
enjoyed that.
another one because I know
I enjoyed
I'll
that.
involve you.
And it wasn't an excuse to get dressed up because 9 times out of 10, this is it. Or scrubs. It's not cute. It's not
It
cute.
was funny though because like your whole that day that she went to that one virtual show, she was my co-host, and she'd never seen the garage.
Oh my God, I walked in and I was like, what in the actual fuck? Because there were like car parts, and I was like,
Yeah.
how is he going to make this a thing? I don't understand.
And it
he
sounded
did.
so good.
It sounded great. And like he had things hung up to hide things and lights, and it was like, this isn't even the same place I walked into. 30 minutes. It took 30
Well,
for
and
30 minutes.
my
I was like,
favorite
oh
part
my
of it all was
God.
Rick Myers was the first act,
And he walks
pulls
in.
he's like covered in leather, like fucking
Just
dog
with a dog
collar on.
collar. He just
and
walks in. I'm like, I dig it, but
Right. What kind of operation are you running here, Mike?
no, I dug it. I was like,
But the
ooh,
funny
bring
thing
it
was
back.
the second he started playing,
And then it's like this
She
soft
melted.
shit. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
it was just like the whole thing was very surreal.
And you know how big that garage is. I mean, it's
It's huge,
massive.
yeah.
And I remember going to practice there for the first time, and I was like, oh man. I'm
oh,
gonna-
and we were actually in another band. You were at that
Yep.
one at that time, so
Yeah.
this was like 8 years ago, 9 years
Yeah,
ago.
and I remember the first thought I ever had the first time I walked in that garage was I'm gonna blow my voice out because it must be
yes.
so loud in here, and it's not. I mean, Mike, the way he sets
I
up
felt the
PA,
same way. And he hands me this little mic, and I'm like,
What is this gonna do? Yeah,
what is happening?
yeah.
But it turned out so good.
It was a fun time. Yeah.
You're very good
Well, I
at video and
appreciate
audio editing.
And
I don't
sound
think you
is
give
amazing,
yourself
yeah.
like enough credit. You should go forth and do
Absolutely.
more.
I appreciate that.
So do you guys have it? Yeah, no, you said you have an upcoming show for New Year's. Is it literally New Year's night?
Yeah.
It is. It's
New
New
Year's
Year's Eve. Yeah, and we
New
go
Year's
on.
night. Good God.
Yeah, no, and we go on and we get to be the band and then announce the whole ball drop and the time change and all
Awesome.
that. Yeah.
Do you guys ever like reach out to other musicians for music or ideas or to co-write? Do you any co-writing at all?
No, we don't. We don't. And that's not because we wouldn't. It's just we only band practice once a week. And it just seems like everybody tends to have their own career in this band.
Right. Right. You're all
Well,
very
and
busy.
I will say that we've not creatively gone stale.
No.
And we've been together almost 3 years. Maybe it's been over 3 years. Because we were with Stephen for 2, and then Eric's been a year. So
A
it's
little
like
over a
right-
year.
right
So
at
like a
3.
little over 3 years. Yeah.
And honestly, you know, and hats off because, you know, Kristen just comes up with new stuff all,
All
the
the
time.
time.
She's got so many songs pre-written that
Yeah.
it's just
She's like, just give me music.
Right,
I'll put the
right.
lyrics
Yeah.
to it. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Well, we had band practice last night and we came up with 3 new songs.
yeah.
And they were good. We'll probably play them on New Year's. So
Any other shows you have coming up? Do you have anything booked for the new year?
we have a couple things in talk. I am not exactly sure what those dates are because we're still trying to figure it out. I know that we all sat down as a band last night and we're like, okay, going to this new year though, we are really going to jam pack it with gigs. We want to do some, Christian really in particular wants to do bigger venues, bigger festivals like the fair and things like that to really kind of
Absolutely.
get ourselves out there. Hopefully more traveling, you know, Ohio, Tennessee, Florida, fingers crossed for that.
She's just using that as an excuse to go to
Yeah,
Florida.
homeland, yeah.
And
I know,
if you
that's where I'm
want to
from,
do
so-
a video recording in Florida, you just
Pack your bags and bring you with.
I'll just follow you. You can put stuff in my car. You can put a couple guitars
we
in
need
there.
a roadie, so
No, I mean, for a Florida trip, I'll be like, where do you want the amp?
all Mike's
South
getting
Carolina's
tired of
beautiful.
doing the PA and the drums, so
I mean, don't think I won't do it. This is a very important question.
Oh man.
Okay.
Oh boy.
What advice would you give somebody who wanted to start drumming?
get the electronic set so you don't piss your parents off.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's got to be so much different now, you know, because I see these kids and they've got so many YouTube. I grew up in a time you got Modern Drummer once a month, you know, and
Right.
that's all you know, like say there weren't all this endless videos of how to, and you know, like you had to, you know, I'd save up for drum lessons, and you know, now you can just flip on it. Hey, that was really cool. How do you play that? And there's
YouTube
500
is
examples
amazing.
of how you did. So, I mean, I don't know. I think they got it a lot better than I had it. So,
But what would you tell somebody who was like, I want to drum professionally?
I'm not sure what that is because I don't drum professionally.
Shut up. I'm done with him. Jamie.
He's very, very, very humble.
I guess I'm like, whatever.
Oh no! Believe me, I've got some ego when it comes to how
I've heard you just play around.
Like I say, everybody's better at something. You know, I mean, I always joke all the time. I don't play metal because I'm too fat and old. I'm not killing the double bass pedal just to. I don't want to work out, man. You know. But you know, and then I do some things that are really in the classic rock style, probably better than a lot of people do. You know, my ego will afford me that. You know, but I have all kinds of advice for gigging musicians that you know, show up early, get your shit off the fucking stage, get on the stage quick.
That also comes from you being a sound guy, is that you see it from all perspectives.
Yeah,
for
You're not just looking at it from.
I think I will impart this, and it does drive me insane. I dealt with this last weekend. Everybody who plays drums, they sit on top of it, and the first thing they do is like put moon gel or fucking tape it up, or because they want to muffle the ring of the drum. And years ago, I met a really wise guy, and he was like, "Hey, walk out here, let somebody else play your drums." And I had all that tape on it, all that shit on it, and it sounded dead as shit
Outside,
here.
yeah.
But it's like, when you get on top of it, you gotta let that, you gotta let it resonate, and it sounds so much better.
Yeah.
And and even though you're on top of it, it doesn't sound what you think it should sound like. And on the radio, you've got to get used to that because it sounds that much better out there. And I see a lot of guys that just don't understand that concept. So
That's good advice. And what would you tell a singer? She's like, I don't like this question. Her face, she's like, no.
Yeah. First thing would be to be yourself unapologetically and still be open to new things. Meaning, if you're weird, be weird, embrace it. If you're quirky or sexy or fun or aggressive, just go with what feels natural, but then also be open to the idea of pushing yourself past things that don't feel comfortable, experiment, take all kinds of different things from different people. One huge mistake I made when we were first a band is I have all these heavy metal friends and all these heavy rock friends. And I would go to their gigs and they'd be like, oh, hey, you have a band? And I was like, oh, no, I mean, yeah, we just kind of started this project. And I didn't embrace it for what it was because I felt somewhat embarrassed that it wasn't like this super cool, like heavy metal or rock, it wasn't like this big badass thing. Typical of the metal community, they were so embracing. They're like, if
great.
You're doing it and you love what you do, be proud of it. Just be yourself unapologetically. And someone said that to me and it just resonated. And it's something that I've had to embrace. Okay, so we do a little bit softer music, but there's so many different qualities to that. We're marketable. We can be out there in the mainstream. And, I don't feel like we're selling out. I never did.
One of the same metal guys told you and said, it doesn't matter. It's still good music. Like,
Yeah.
It's not metal music, but it's good
still
music.
great.
You can't
Yeah.
just listen and enjoy
Right.
one type of music.
And we've had so many people in the heavier genres reach out to us and say, can we put some of your songs or a song of yours onto our album? It's for a benefit or if it's for this or that. And that always,
great.
yeah, and it always makes me feel really good. We've been on some bills with some heavier bands too, and they love what we do. Skipping Stone, they had opened up for us, and I kind of got a glimpse of that after they played. I was like, wow, they were really like rock and roll. Like, can we pull this off, after them? Like, geez,
You're like, I'm following that? Great.
Yeah, right. That's exactly how I felt. And, they stood there the whole time. They were dancing around. They acted like they loved our set. They've been huge supporters of what we do. And so being yourself is a huge part of that.
I want to thank you guys for being on the show. I appreciate
Thank you for having
keeping
us.
me in the loop.
Thank you again, guys, for being on the show and sharing your music. Sound Pollution appreciates you. Listeners, thank you for listening and supporting the podcast. Please make sure you are subscribing to us on those listening platforms. It really does make a difference to us. You didn't forget about that bonus track, did ya? Make some noise.
Gypsy, I loved him so. Why did he have to go? She came into town one autumn day, told her the fortunes we all would make. I went to the gypsy to see what the future would hold for me. She told of a man with cool clear eyes, hair as black as midnight in the evening skies. She said I would lose my heart by the man who soon would part. Gypsy, he won my heartbeat, and he left me here with his seed. Gypsy, he have to go? He came into town on a fiery machine, lure out my soul with a heart unseen. Love never entered this game, and he never left me his name. Wake up now with a babe in my arms, hair as black as midnight, soft and warm. Oh gypsy, why did he go? He left me with a son he won't know. Gypsy, he won my